It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Winter Workout Tour in full swing in Springfield this past weekend. Fantastic trip. Appreciate Coach Hughes, Coach McGee, opening up their facilities. Friday was kind of a bust with the snow. Kevin, we left here with 10 inches of snow, drove down on Thursday so we could miss the snow, and got 6 inches down in Springfield. It was a lot of fun.
That's a handful. Did you have your trailer with you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. So we were kind of just snowed in on Friday. It just...
Yeah.
But it cleared up. We were able to get where we needed to go. The teams came out, and we had a good time. We got that stuff coming up. We had some great interviews. You probably have already seen the Caden Cloud interview. We talked to 4 different guys. We talked with Roden Lejeune, Jackson Phipps, Matt Angel, and Brighton Tao from Willard. That's up. All of our player spotlights are up. You can go watch them. Great conversations with those guys as well. And we want to, last night, we had a good time. I don't know if you got to see it. We went live. It was the first time we've done this, Kevin. We went live at a facility for our winter workout tour. We did a bunch of different interviews through the day. We'll have some great stuff coming up. Mitch came over and did an interview with Tyler Michelle, their hitting guy over at RBC at the practice factory. I sat in for Darren Sissel on Baseball 101 with Dave Wiggins. We had our Baseball Mom segment. We recorded all that. That's all coming up this week from the practice factory. We recorded all those there. We went live last night, and it was cool because we were able to, we had some of the instructors mic'd up live, talking to the kids as they were going through drills and stuff. It was cool, man. It was a lot of fun. And it was, it's the moment. It's what's happening right then and there. It was, it went better than I'd anticipated. I was hoping it wasn't going to just crash on me.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I thought, guys were explaining some of the drills because Chad, the guy that does their pitching, a lot of their pitching stuff, they do those water deals, training, and he was explaining some of that and working with the kids. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So if you missed it live last night, go check that out. It's up on the channel, Youth Baseball Midwest. We appreciate it. Winter Workout Tour. We're going to be in Columbia this weekend. We got some good stuff set up there. Having a lot of fun with that. And I want to give a shout out to our new partner, Goat Athletic. Mitchell Harlan was out there with us last night showing off their new product, Goat Athletic. They're, just went out of my head. There it is, website. Their website is now live. You can go to their website, check out their stuff. Appreciate Goat Athletic being part of the Winter Workout Tour. So go check that out, goatathleticproducts.com. And Kevin, your winter workout stuff is getting ready to explode on the scene here. Joining us as always, the guru himself, Mr. Kevin Moulder. What's going on in your neck of the woods, bro?
The calm before the storm, which I'm looking forward to the storm. We're about to kick it off, and gets going pretty good here at the end of January. Obviously, carrying all the way through February to the week of tryouts, which it's all right around the corner. It's right there in front of us, and excited to get going. Got a couple big ones coming up. We start off with the MoCan preseason All State, which is our big Kansas City event, followed by the St. Louis preseason ID on President's Day. We do that one at the Bud Dome, which has been a great event. Um, and then we finish things up with our Super Bowl for the state, if you will, the Missouri preseason All State, which is at the Sports Barn on Saturday, February 22nd. So, which is really filled up nicely. We got a great roster put together, a couple spots remaining for that one. But yeah, that's and then a bunch of scout days with a lot of the organizations mixed in between, and this is a fun time of year for me. It's a lot of work. I'm certainly busy, but you get to see all the games and where the players are heading into the spring. And I know you like to ask me about my predictions and talk about teams, but it allows me to be a little more educated after seeing what these guys look like after a big off season. And a lot of these kids change a significant amount between their sophomore and junior year and their junior and senior. And you start to learn about some of these younger guys, the freshmen and the sophomores, and who's going to create an impact and which teams kind of, where how they're aligning, et cetera. So this is a really fun time of year. And then by the time you get to the end of the month, I think people are ready for high school baseball. So looking forward to it.
There you go. We're going to be out with you guys at the All-State this year at the Sports Barn on the 22nd. Look forward to that. I always like that one because it gives, you have this expectation of the season coming up. It's kind of the last big event before we jump right into the tryouts, right? And so you can really kind of see the mode of guys and that they're kind of starting to put themselves in that position, being ready for tryouts, right?
Yeah, they should be ready to go that week. On the 22nd, tryouts is the following week. So yeah, everyone should be about there. Outside of the winter sport athletes, some basketball players and whatnot. But it gives everyone a good opportunity to get all the way built up and in good shape, and they should be, it's go time basically at that point.
Speaking of preseason rankings and whatnot, oh yeah, I've already got all those, Kevin. And what's interesting when we talk about this, I get a chance when we're out in these spaces and we start seeing. Last night, got a chance to talk to some of the high school kids with RBC and talking to them about their teams, and it's amazing what you can glean. You kind of see, players know what they got around them, right? More so than what people think. You always we talk to the coaches and whatnot. But the guys know, hey, we got, if you hear them talking, yeah, we got some juniors, we got some kids coming up. We think we're going to be pretty good. They know, they're very aware, yes. Right? And I always think, absolutely. I always take that as if the players that have been varsity and are seeing the kids come up have confidence in some of the guys they're seeing, I think that makes for a pretty good recipe because they know who's good and who's not good. They may not say it all the time, but they know. It's pretty obvious at times, right?
Dead on, yeah. The kids know the ins and outs of their teams. They're there on a daily basis, working out with these guys. They know who's working, who's gained a little weight, who's gained a little velocity, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. And so we're gonna take a look at this because we were down in Springfield. I love that area. I think the baseball is really good down there, and we want to talk more. And you get some pretty good coverage. The Ozone down there, shout out to those guys. They cover sports pretty well in Southwest Missouri. So you're able to get some pretty good information about those schools down there. There's been some conference realignment over the last year. So everything is kind of different. This is the first year of the Central Ozark Conference. Teams have moved. It's different, and so it's kind of a new thing. I think this may be the second year of the COC that started last year, and guys, teams are still moving a little bit, but so we're going to take a look at this because you got some of the heavy hitters in this conference. And I know we've talked a little bit about it before, but in the West Division, you have Carthage, Joplin, Neosho, Parkview, Republic, Webb City, and Willard High School. There's 7 teams in that West Division. We currently have scheduled a Webb City. We're scheduled to go down to Webb City in the last week of the season, and we're going to be live streaming from Webb City the Joplin game. So we got a pretty good matchup there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Webb City last year was 26-8. They were the Class 5 District 7 champs. You had Willard High School, who was the Class 5 District 6 champs and the eventual Class 5 state champs. So you got these two programs in one conference. That's some serious stuff right there, Kevin.
Absolutely. I got a chance to see both of those teams play last year. Saw Webb City at Ozark and saw Willard multiple times, obviously, through their state championship run. And both those programs are really, really well coached. Both those programs have good players coming back. So that will be a hotly contested district right there, or conference, I should say.
Absolutely. And, Willard, I don't think they lost a whole lot from their state championship run last year. They got some dudes coming back. We got a chance to talk to them, as we said. They got Lejeune, their catcher, coming back. I always love to see that. When you have a catcher coming back who, part of a state championship, he's back behind the plate. You didn't lose much. You've got an experienced guy behind the plate that directs your team, that moves it in the right direction. You got your shortstop coming back and Matt Angel. I really enjoyed. There was the young man we talked to, Jackson Phipps. Articulate kid, man. I was really impressed with him. I think they've got the makings right there of another run in them. They've got the pitching. They've got that whole process of just kind of coming back. I think I think they're going to be hard to beat if they're still in Class 5, depending upon, we understand they've been teetering on that line between Class 6 and Class 5. So I know that's from what Coach McGee said. What do you think about that?
I think we'll find out about that after the season starts, but my feelings on that. But yeah, no, I agree. Anytime you get a team, especially at the high school, it's true in all baseball, but I feel like at the high school level, it's doubly as important. If you got a returning catcher that's good, you are so far ahead of the situation. The catching position, I've seen some great teams unraveled by the catching position. So, if you're solid up the middle with the catcher and shortstop, which Willard certainly is, that puts you certainly well ahead of the game.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting that way. Then you've got Republic. They lost in the first round to the number 7 seed Neosho, and they were the number 2 seed in their district, in District 6. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think I'm going to take a little bit more. They were 18-15. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back this year. I know they've had some players. We're going to take a look and a deep dive. I'm hoping to get that coach on the show and talk to him a little bit more about that. Down at the East Division, though, is Kickapoo, Lebanon, Nixa, Ozark, Waynesville Central, and Glendale High School. What's interesting here, well, just real quick, in that West Division, up at the top, all 7 schools except for Webb City, well, 6 of the 7 schools, excuse me, are in District 6. So this West Division, the conference to me really matters a lot because then you're playing all these teams. Your seeding is setting up for the district as well. If they all stay in that same district pretty good, you really have a pretty good idea what's going to come out of it.
I do like that. That makes sense. We're going to play our conference season, and then we're going to, judge and seed these teams fairly based on the conference, and however the districts shake out is how they shake out. But the seeding will be done properly because it gets really tough when we're trying to seed teams that haven't played a similar schedule, might be in different classes. So how do you judge someone that played a 6A, class 6 schedule versus teams that play mostly 5, or don't have many common opponents? This is a great situation. They're going to know where these teams fit in, and I like that a lot.
I do too.
And it also forms some rivalries and, a second or third look at a team when you get to the district playoffs. That'll make for a fun district time.
And I know the challenges with that with Misha. And in some respects, I get those challenges. You have distance, right? Yeah, but this one is just fantastic because it's right there. Webb City, of course, down south there. They're in District 7. And so it'll be interesting if I know there's only so many teams. I think there's 8 teams per district, though. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up and shakes out as well. Don't know. East Division, though, now this is where it gets a little bit different because you have, as I said, Kickapoo, Lebanon, Nixa, Ozark, Waynesville Central, and Glendale. Waynesville and Lebanon were in District 2 this year, which was Lafayette, Eureka, trying to remember, I think Parkway South.
Beyond Kirkwood,
yes.
Marquette.
Exactly. So that, and Lebanon lost to Parkway South in the first round 1-0. Lebanon was good last year, 23-12. I think they're going to be back again this year. I think there was a young man you'd talked about from Lebanon last year that was really good.
Lebanon's been on the radar for a couple of years now. They have a very strong group. I expect them to be back in the mix again this coming year.
In fact, I'm going to do this real quick because I'm going to pull this up because the Ozone does a all Ozark conference for 2024. Lebanon, they had a first team pitcher, Blake Deckard was there. They also had, it was all conference. Hoyt Honey was honorable mention from last year's team. Chance Cromer was a junior. He'll be back this year. They had a sophomore infielder, Cole Milliken, from Lebanon. That was all conference. You also had honorable mention Tony Myers, I guess it is, Myres, from Lebanon there. Said they had an outfield. Hoyt Honey was an outfield too. Wow, that's unusual, right?
I have an up-and-coming sophomore that I like a lot, Beckett York, who's a shortstop. Does a really nice job, good athlete. He's one to keep an eye on. So, the program is well stocked. They got young players coming up. So that will be one to keep an eye on. So now what district are they heading to, Brian?
I don't know. They were in District 2 last year, so it'll be interesting to see.
You weren't saying they were changing districts. You were just talking about the conference. Sorry.
No, that's right. And and the rest of the Eastern Division, Kickapoo, Nixa, Ozark, and Glendale, they're all in District 6, Class 6, and Central was in District 5. So it was kind of a interesting mix. You had that Central Springfield up in District 5, which was up north there. Um, Kind of interesting how all that played out.
Yeah.
But here we go with, of course, Nixa, Glendale. Of course, they were the Class 6 District 6 champs. They beat Nixa in the district championship game, 26-6 for Glendale. Do you see them having that same kind of year this year, Kevin?
There's a lot of talent there. They got one of the, arguably the state's best positional player in Sebastian Norman, right up there with Caden Cloud. So they've been in the mix the past couple of years. I would expect them to be very relevant again, and there will be a lot of eyes on them from a scouting standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a fun follow.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a tough one again. You got Lebanon, Nixa, which I think Nixa is probably one of the top 3 teams in the state. Looking at them up and down, the kids coming back, Cloud, Wyatt Vincent in center field. Although this is the thing, and I was talking with Coach Hughes about this, is their catcher position. They've graduated a couple guys. They've got a couple of younger guys that they're going to be relying on. He said they've had good work, but again, there it is. You've got some pitchers coming back. Kelly is one of them. It's always difficult to catch at that varsity level when you're seeing that next step up with velocity, with movement, with all those things, and trying to maintain that level of leadership on the field. It takes a special talent to do that.
Absolutely, and they have a true number one in senior Jackson Gamble, who this past week at one of our events was sitting 90-91. They have a couple sophomores that I like a lot, and Adam McKnight, an outfielder, and Cameron Miller, third baseman. These guys are, highly regarded in the sophomore class, both top 10 in their class. So there is a lot of talent if they get the catching position stabilized. We were just talking about this 5 minutes ago. How, in my opinion, at the high school level, the catching position is arguably the most important position on the field. So we'll see if they can get that anchored down. And but I do really like this group, and certainly one of the top teams in the state.
Absolutely. And so that's going to be a fun conference to watch right there. That second part of that West Division right there, between, I think, Nixa, between Glendale, that's a fun one right there. And also, as we talked about before, they're in the same district. So they were last year. So I don't see it changing this year. You never know what happens, but you hope not.
I don't think Liberty North, and Staley feel sorry for them.
Right? Exactly. Agreed. Or Francis Halford, Zumwalt West.
Right. Exactly.
You got to go play it. You got to go play it. But I think it'll be interesting to see how Lebanon comes into this mix. But yet, district-wise, they're going to be jumping. We'll see what that. What do you think about Ozark, Kevin? They've kind of been right there, but not seem to be able to crack into that top next tier.
I like them. They have a couple good young ones. Rylan Sutton. Rylan Sutton was starting as a freshman last year, left-hand hitting outfielder. Cooper Pumphrey is going to be a big one for them. Big physical right-hander, committed to Mizzou. How he progresses, and then Hudson Roberts, one of the top players in the senior class, two-way athlete. Upper 80s, low 90s on the mound, can play all over the field. So there's a ton of talent there at Ozark. I expect them to be highly competitive. Also, very cool setting for baseball. I like their um, their facility. It's like a little stadium down in a hill, and very nice setup. Um, Much different feel than the St. Louis and the Kansas City area fields, but very nice place at Ozark for baseball.
There's a lot of stadiums down there for baseball, for high school baseball.
For my money, the southwest part of our state does it the best. Now, there are some very nice facilities popping up in the big metro areas of Kansas City and St. Louis with the field turf and whatnot. But down in the southwest, it's a little bit different feel. There are more stadiums. You got press boxes. A lot of them have lights, PA guys announcing the game. So it's just a little bit different feel.
Yeah. It's begun. Hal Central is getting turf this year.
I did hear that. That will be that's a good step forward.
Yeah, be interesting, right? See what gives. But that Central Ozark Conference, it's 14 teams. You got 2 divisions. I think they're pretty well balanced as far as competitiveness. And I think it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch, Kevin. I got to go
Yes,
back.
it will. I look forward to getting down there. I get down there every year. I'm looking forward to my spring trip to Springfield.
Absolutely. We're going to be down live streaming some games that basically it's almost the last week of the season. We're doing it in concert with a youth program, with a youth event down at Ballparks of America. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Right now, we got Web City hosting Joplin. I'm hoping to get Branson and Willard at Branson. We have it on the schedule. We got to confirm it with the coaches. Always good to confirm that, right?
Yes, smart move.
But you got a lot of guys coming back here. I want to move over to this other conference real quick. The one that kind of is new with this is the Ozark Mountain Conference. It's not new in one respect, but it's added teams. It's you've got 7 teams here. Bolivar, Branson, Carl Junction, Hillcrest, Logan Rogersville, Marshfield, and West Plains. These teams, you had 4 of these teams with 20 wins or more, which I think is pretty good.
There's some strong teams in that outfit there. Logan Rogersville has been our number 1 small school multiple times over the past couple of years. Branson has had a strong run here. Another great facility in the Southwest. Carl Junction has had multiple good years recently. This is a strong group.
These right now are all Class 5 teams except for Logan Rogersville's Class 4. Bolivar, Branson, Hillcrest, Marshfield, and West Plains are all in District 6 of Class 5. So you've got
West Plains, I believe, was maybe the last undefeated team in the state last year. Tank Johnson, left-handed hitting catcher, who's now at SEMO, kind of led that charge down there. But they had a phenomenal year last spring.
Wasn't that Tank Sims?
Tank Sims, sorry, yes.
It's all right.
Good catch.
Tank
Johnson, I believe, is a college football player.
Hey, it's there, right? We still got one more game of college football. Weird, huh?
Yeah. Who's your pick?
Man, I'm not picking either one. I don't like either team.
It doesn't matter who you like. I didn't ask you who you liked. Who do you think's going to win?
Who do I think's going to win? Oh, man. I think Notre Dame's going to win, honestly.
Wow, okay.
I do.
Great. I hope it's a close game.
I just
take the Buckeyes.
You take the Buckeyes. Um, I just think Notre Dame's defense can make a few more plays. Honestly, it's hard to cover those wide receivers for Ohio State, but um, I'm not surprised anymore. I thought Notre Dame was going to be out long. I thought they would lose to Penn State. I really did. So my team's out, man. Arizona State, they gave Texas all they wanted, and I thought they got going a little too late in that game. You know,
They were one of the fun teams to follow the last month, though.
it was great, and I think they're going to be good for the first. That quarterback they have is really good, um, and
That running back, Scataboom, or is that it?
yeah,
God.
yeah. He's going to be, and that's an NFL running back, man. He's going to be in the draft this year, and so I'm. It's going to be tough. They're going that to replace Scattaboo next year is going to be tough, man. Going to be
Yeah,
tough.
he was different.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to try to tackle him.
No, sir.
All right, back to baseball. But nonetheless, you look at this up and down here. Branson lost to Willard in the district final. West Plains lost to Branson in the semis. So, they're beating up on each other there. Logan Rogersville was the Class 4 District 10 champions. Branson had 26 wins. Carl Junction, who lost to Webb City in the District 7 final, they were 18 and 17, so they were right there. You had Logan Rogersville had 26 wins. Marshfield, there's a team that I really hadn't thought about until I see them here. They had 23 wins, Kevin.
I was about to say they've been, I believe, in our small school mentions, like on deck in the past.
So, and then West Plains 24. Who do you see, I know it's early. I think, but you're talking Class 5 guys that are retooling. Marshfield, I'm going to be interesting to see. I'm going to try and get a little bit more information on them. Will West Plains, you think, be back in that mix again this year?
It will be interesting to find out. I would say they would not be in the same class as some of the teams at the top of that conference.
Gotcha. They lost some guys, didn't they, this year?
Yes,
That's what I
but
thought.
we will find out. I am
Yeah.
excited. West Plains, Missouri State West Plains Community College opened up and will be competing this year. So we added another junior college program, and I think it was important to get another one in that part of the state. We have a decent amount. We've added some here recently with East Central and Moberly. Now we're adding West Plains that begin play this season, and that's really the only thing going down there is Crowder, which I say the only thing going. They're nationally known and at Grand Junction a good amount, but now there'll be another junior college in the southwest part of the state, which I'm excited about because it'll give more opportunities for these players down there, and that is a strong area of our state for baseball. So good to see another college baseball program popping up in the state of Missouri.
I think especially at the JC level, I think kids are going to have to consider the junior college route much more with the rule changes, with what's going on, and the possibility. I know we were talking with Wiggins last night. We were talking about the ruling for, do you think that are you going to get the 4 years of eligibility after 2 years of JC? What's that going to look like moving forward? How do all these things wash out? I think we're still a couple few years away from seeing the ramifications from all these rule changes. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of years to unravel all of this. When it's all said and done, I don't believe that will be the case where you can go to junior college for 2 years and then play for 4 years at a 4 year.
Mm.
but we will see. This will all get litigated in court, and I am not a lawyer, obviously, and we're a legal scholar, as you well know.
No, me neither. I just and that's what's fascinating about these conversations. I think there's so much in limbo. I think it's going to affect recruiting even more so until these things are really all settled. And I think kids are going to need some good advice and uh, really taking that next step. And I think it's going to be incumbent upon clubs, high school coaches, scouting directors, as you're saying, the information that's coming, that's got to get out to these kids about that process at this point. What is the best route for some of these guys? We're talking about these high school kids and the next step. I mean, Division I is cutting down, I think it's December 1st, right? 34 players. So that's going to impact the Division II, the JC. It's got to be some big decisions being made. And I think kids are going to have to really know when they get to their senior year, what's that next step for me? What's my path? What's the best path for me? I think that's going to be very important.
I agree, and this is all fresh and new, and it's going to take a little to sort out. But the junior college level, in my opinion, is going to have an explosion of talent over the next year or two, which I think is a positive thing for the players. I love junior college baseball. It gets them on the field, gives them a couple years to continue to develop, and then ultimately find their final home.
Absolutely. I want to bring up there's another one, another conference, Mid Lakes, that popped up here that Springfield Catholic went to the Mid Lakes Conference there with Hollister and Reed Springs. Hollister is one of those programs. It's always kind of, they're the smaller schools, but always seem to be in the hunt for a title there. You got Buffalo, Forsyth, Clever, Fairgrove, and I know most people are like, what? What are you talking about? But that's all these smaller schools, southwestern part of the state. Stratford, you know where Stratford is. You're rolling right into Springfield off 44.
Last season, Brian.
Were you
watching again? Yes. It's you know what? That is the high school closest to Buc-ee's at our state for any Buc-ee's fans. It is right before you get to Springfield. If you see Buc-ee's, you're less than a mile from Stratford High. And I did make a stop. I mean, you can't go to Stratford and not go to Buc-ee's. It's a phenomenal thing. When you go to Stratford, you get to go to Buc-ee's. So it's a massive win. I highly advise you do this thing.
There you go. They have great barbecue beef, man. Unbelievable.
What is the secret? It's incredible. Buc-ee's and Wally's, obviously, and Fenton. There's something magical they have going on. Like when you walk through the doors, you just want to start spending money. You just like, you don't need anything when you walk in, but then like when you're in there, you're like, oh, I need this. And, yeah, those sounds good. And a Slurpee, sure, why not? And it's like you don't need any of it, and then you walk out and you've spent like $21, and you're like, huh? Every single time.
And I love the soda flavors they have there, all the different mixes. It's great, right?
It's great, yeah.
Man, we got to get Buc-ee's to sponsor the show, man. That's what we need.
Please.
There you go. Hey, here's one not to sleep on. The Big 8 conference is still down there. Small schools, Aurora, which was right in the hunt. Cassville, East Newton, Lamar, McDonald County, which is always a pretty good program down in that respect. Monette was right there. Mount Vernon, Nevada. I think they won the state title a few years back, didn't they, Kevin?
I believe so, yes. Are those mostly 2 and 3A Class 3 schools?
Class 3? Yes. I think McDonald County is a Class 4, and I think Monette's Class 4. depending, it might be
Yeah,
different.
it
But
shifts.
Seneca had a good record last year. They were right there in the mix. So this is a really good conference in the small schools.
Yes, yes.
And so all these things we're looking at, and then the one that was interesting to me, Kevin, and we'll finish up with this one is Camdenton. Uh, the Durnan brothers, the one they got injured last year, kind of derailed their season a little bit. They had like 5 injuries that really just derailed Camdenton last year. Should get, I think, one of the Durnan brothers back. The one was a senior and he moved on, but the other one I think was a junior last year. He'll be back this year. And what was interesting about Camdenton is when all the conference swaps, they went north into the Central MAC with Battle, Capital City, Helias Catholic, Hickman, Jeff City, Rockbridge, and Smith Cotton. Talk about jumping into a frying pan.
Yes. In Camdenton, Carson Durnan is the youngest, and I remember watching him play second base as a freshman with his older brothers who were, studs. And Carson's had a rough go of it over the past, over his junior year with the knee injury, just some bad timing, but finally healthy and looking good, committed to Wichita State, signed with Wichita State, I should say. So hopefully, he has a big spring. It was unfortunate last year, with the injury. So happy to see him back on the field. And but yeah, they're jumping in, and it should be fun to follow in that conference.
Exactly. So you get Capital City, Helias Catholic, Jeff City, Rockbridge, and Smith Cotton. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I thought that was, and the last one here, Rolla. This was interesting because I read this article doing some research, Kevin. This is one that struck me. Rolla is an independent.
Okay,
For,
they're the Notre Dame of Missouri high school baseball.
that's correct. All sports. And I thought it was interesting why they did it. It was just for the simple fact that they could not travel that far. That was the biggest thing. It was about travel. They ended up playing as an independent team, and the article I was reading, they're traveling 180 miles to go and play teams of equal size because they're a Class 5 school, 1,000 kids. And they said when you're 100 miles from Springfield or St. Louis and 60 miles away from Jeff City, it makes it difficult to be in a conference of similar sized schools. And this is the director of athletics there from Raleigh. That was a statement in the article. That's got to be tough for Raleigh at this point. How do you compete? How do you get yourself there?
That is a challenging situation, and the schools in Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, and Springfield have a nice advantage because they have so much built-in competition. Um, so that is an extreme challenge for any school in that situation. And there's a couple of them out there, and budgets are real, and you start thinking about it. Not even if you had unlimited budgets, if you're traveling 125 miles to get to one game, that's 250 miles of travel in a day, and then this is a school day for a kid, and being on the bus that amount of time, and it's not a big deal to do it one time, right? Like
Right.
you can do something for a day, but when you're doing it for a whole season, half your games, that really adds up and takes a toll on a 15, 16, 17-year old. Um, Certainly that's a tough situation. So I that makes a lot of sense why they wouldn't be in a conference.
Yeah. And that speaks to, that's a collegiate type level, being on the bus, having to do your homework. I mean, you got all those academic things involved, missing class, things like that, where you expect a collegiate kid, a little more maturity dealing with those things. But it's a little tougher on, 16-year-old kid traveling,
Yes.
doing all that. Are you mature enough to handle those things? And I think that's the other thing that I think about within the scope of all that. And though the financial deal, that was definitely involved in that, because their enrollment is 1,067, and I think that puts them right in the Class 5 area of schools. So it'll be interesting to see. They're doing that for the next couple of years. So kind of Rolla's, I want to follow this because I think this is an interesting conversation, and I'm hoping I'm going to reach out to the Rolla coach, and hopefully we can get him on the show here and talk to him about those challenges. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So, well, there's a quick look at these conferences, the new shape of Southwest conferences in Missouri, and kind of a little overlook. I'm getting ready to pop out my top 20, top 10. I'll probably do top 10 to start with because those are easier. It's hard to fill in the blanks, man, at Class 4 and 3. Oof, I'll tell you, it really is. So, but that's the challenge. We're going to be up for it, Kevin. There you go. Hey, folks, if you like what we're doing here, please, you can follow Kevin on X and Instagram. You can do it at PBR_Moulder, or you can follow him on X and Instagram at Prep Baseball Mo. Am I correct?
Yes.
Boom. Make sure you do that. Give him a follow. It's good stuff. You can see what's going on all around there with Prep Baseball Missouri. Director of Scouting, Kevin Moulder. Always a pleasure, my friend. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, fun chopping it up and looking forward to teeing things up here pretty soon.
Absolutely, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Hit the subscribe button down there. Hit the dinger next to it. It's not a home run, but it is notifications for episodes such as this. Make sure you follow us on our socials at Youth Baseball Midwest on IG, at Capitals YBM_cast on X. We've got the winter workout tour. We're going to be in Columbia this weekend. We're going up to Pike County, New London, small club. It's going to be cool. We're looking forward to that one this weekend. A lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day in the Lord. Pitchers, tell them, Kevin.
Keep throwing strikes.
Hitters, hit them where they ain't. We'll see y'all next time.